What's up, everybody? This is Captain A, and welcome to another Color Guard, where we are talking terrain. If you have seen any of the London GT pictures that have been coming out, terrain can be a big issue. And my tournament, the Boise Cup, happening in the end of June, about a month and a half away, is no exception. We are really trying to have our best terrain game possible. So I'm going to be going through some of the terrain projects I'm working on. Love some feedback, love some comments, love some ideas. Just kind of showcasing what we got, what I'm working on, and what I think I'm going to need to do to get this all going. So I have like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 different pieces in mind, and I'm going to go through some of them right now and showcase what's coming up for the Boise Cup. Our sold out Grand Tournament. Maybe an announcement might happen if we have some things to work on in the future. So let me show you what we're working on for the Boise Cup. Alright, up first we have, I'm going to probably use this fat mat to show most of the terrain, but I do have certain mat pieces for it. This is stuff for the Greek table. I'm kind of doing this just for me, well, for me and for you. Kind of take you on the process. Some thoughts and ideas. I found these Greek pieces from the fish store. I made some of these a long time ago, some of these pink foam pieces here. So over here, had an idea about sculpting a head. I found this really cool 3D print. This is an actual bust of an actual bust, a 3D mold of an actual Greek bust, and it came out pretty nice. I was thinking about cutting it off and kind of having it on its side as a line of sight blocking piece. I think the problem I have with this is line of sight blocking. One thing I'm thinking about getting by that is using the ITC type of rule where pieces like that block line of sight. If I had a decent amount, and because like those bins I showed before are mostly just things I've been collecting since last year. Just I'll go to the store, have an idea, see a sale, grab some stuff, throw it in a bin. Print out some stuff, printed out all these 3D pieces here, throw it in the bin, all that kind of thing. And had these Games Workshop jungle trees, threw those in the bin. This is going to need a lot of work. So it's a concept that I'm very intrigued about and would like to do. Maybe some more pieces like that goldfish terrain or aquarium terrain might be needed to make this work. And I've seen some, but I'm also trying to make this financially less taxing, not to be too much money. And I have a 3D printer, so we'll see what happens. So this is table number 1, Greek terrain table. One that I've always kind of wanted to do. I think would be fun, could look really cool, but what I'm seeing right now is the biggest thing it needs is a lot more terrain and a lot of that line of sight blocking in some fashion or another. I believe I'd think I'd really have to use that column concept and just make a bunch of columns and see what I can come up with that. So, cool. This is the Greek table. Alright, next up we have the Tau table. This is what I'm really excited about. I found this very cool 3D print that was, I think the original scale is somewhere around that size, or maybe a little bigger, and I made it as big as I could fit on my printer and came up with this monstrosity thing here. Put a magnet on it, and I have a nice, really cool giant Tau Sentry gun. I think I'm going to need definitely one more of those. I have a bunch of that I got in a trade through my business Trader A, much of the Tau terrain. Again, what I'm seeing here is I need some more line of sight blocking terrain, which I think is quite feasible. One of the things I came up with is I found these cool potted plants. These are just planters I got from a local store called Fred Meyer, kind of a one-stop shopping place. These I got in a trade from Mr. Gonzalez, who was selling me some of his Tau stuff and had some of these he got from a place, and I think I can actually find these files to print as well. So this is what I was thinking, something like this, which is basically almost like the size of a bastion. Then on top, right, I think I would need, if I got 2 more of those, printed another one of those things, and then maybe had some dwellings to hide some models, a little bit of that, I think this one is a lot more feasible. I think I'm pretty close on this one. And I think this is one of the first ones I'm going to try and get done. I have the FLG mat that fits the Greater Good. I forget what it's exactly called. Greater Good City. And I think it's going to look really cool. Probably, I don't know what paint scheme. I mean, white would be really cool, but white could be a real pain in the butt. So, I don't know. I think that one's going to look really nice. So, if I can get it to what my vision shows. So, this is the Greater Good table. Next we have up, this is what I've been calling the Chernobyl table. The concept here is an industrial type complex where you have some really old generators and things like that, all nasty looking, old, aged, that kind of thing. And one of our local guys, he's going to be tackling this for me, and I'm super stoked because he's a really good painter. He's great with terrain, and this is something he really enjoys. And some of these pieces, my printer did such a nice job. I'm very excited. All these I got off of different 3D file sharing sites. The bunkers, that one came out a lot nicer. This is a 2-piece. This one's the 1-piece, and I had it flipped over, printed like that, so I didn't fill the entire inside, but the top came a little bad. This one I actually took, it was about half the size, and I raised it up. I just used my slicing software. Had some problems on one side here, which we think we're going to try and cover with like vines or foliage. My suggestion, my vision was maybe something like a seafoam green kind of thing, because you see that a bit. This is definitely going to need more. Probably just some ruins. If I think I've had some ruins, maybe a couple trees, I think this will be pretty nice, because the buildings are pretty big, pretty good size, some more than others, and can hide different types of vehicles. And with some ruins, we'll really be able to have a nice table. So I'm really excited about this. I think this one's going to look really cool. This is the Chernobyl table. Next up is Orc 1, or Orc Badlands, I should maybe say. I have a Badlands FLG mat for this already. I've been accumulating some different pieces. Some are finished, like these pieces back here, the junkyardy ones. I think those are going to look really good on the Badlands. Just has it almost looks, when I had it on the mat, it almost looks like a piece of plywood sometimes. People look at it and go, is that a real mat or is that just plywood? Anyway, and then I also have a bunch of the FLG Orc buildings, and perhaps I have another 1 or 2 that aren't assembled. And then with this Imperial Strong Point that has the 2 bastions, I have some really cool Orc print files that I found that print out some different Orc pieces like that, which you can see, and some different things. I'll Orcify them up a bit. I think this one's going to be definitely doable with what I have. I don't think I'm going to need to get a ton more for this table, which is always nice. So this is definitely one that's on the works to be done. Orc Junkyard and the Orc Badlands. I think it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to have a Death Skulls kind of vibe to it, because that's my favorite Orc faction. So I think it's one of the cool things about doing terrain like this, is you get to do what you want, and for the most part it looks really cool. Got some tank traps, bunch of tires, some little hills, and I think on that Badlands table it's going to look really nice. These I've started out as kind of a silver, it's kind of a metal, and the idea would be to rust the crap out of it, as well as our little huts. and different frame pieces. So that one's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited. I think that one goes like that. So I think this one's pretty close. I think I have enough for this. I don't think I need too much more. So yeah, that is the Orc Badlands table. Have you ever seen the movie Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come. Guy gets a crazy vision, builds it, they come. Well, this is kind of my crazy vision. Orc pirate table. I have a water, one of the first water fat mats. And I just had this idea, a really stupid idea. I'm agreeing, it's stupid, for orc pirate ships on little islands, or islands on the sea fat mat. And yeah, and a buddy of mine, love him like a heart attack, Mr. Matty Matt, he's an orc player, so he's always going to thrift stores to find toys to convert into orc things. And I said, I put a bug in his ear, can you find some of these things? If you see him, grab them. And he grabbed me. He found all this stuff. And there's another piece I have, a little cannon thing. I think it's still in my van. But it is definitely not where it needs to be. We found some really cool 3D printed basalt columns, or like those hexagonal columns that form in certain areas. So the idea would be a ship like this crashed on a beach with the basalt columns kind of all around it, like as if it hit it and landed there, all orcified and repainted. This kind of perhaps being the centerpiece, big orc skull pirate ship thing, could be pretty hilarious. Yes, it's dumb. I don't think I would force anybody to play on this. I think I would let people choose to play on it if they wanted to. But I think it could actually be a really good playable table because it's going to have a lot of line of sight blocking, some ruins, different pieces, and it's going to be hilarious. So this one I'm really excited about. I think it's just going to be funny. I don't think I'm going to get to this one for this Boise Cup. This is probably going to be like a year-long project of just doing little things here and there. But I think it's funny, and I think it could be a lot of fun. So that is Orc Pirate Ship Table. Thanks for tuning in and watching the video. Sorry for the clicking throughout the presentation. That was my autofocus. I didn't think I needed my microphone, but nice life lesson. Guess I do need it. Terrain is something for tournaments that is a really big deal. Looking at going to events, I've been to events all over the country, constantly seeing the lack of terrain, and then when 8th edition dropped and how poor the terrain rules were, and all they basically did is you either are out of line of sight or receive +1 armor save, and how easily that can be negated with the shooting that is in most armies nowadays is pretty severe. So you need to have, and many people have said it, a preponderance of line of sight blocking terrain. And in playing games, you need a mixture of terrain. You need some area terrain, area style terrain. You need line of sight blocking terrain. You also need some terrain where models can hide, where there's not just a shooting gallery from any flyer that could just fly 60 inches and just shoot behind it and just wipe out whatever's there. So that's been kind of my goal going forward, is trying to build tables like that offer a good amount of line of sight blocking terrain, have ways for models to gain cover, ways for models to hide, and it's hard to do so. Some of the tables I built last year for the Boise Cup I'm reconfiguring, and for instance, my Tyranid table, which I really love and a lot of people really enjoy the looks of, is going to be, I'm going to be splitting some of the terrain up and adding some buildings that have been infested in a similar fashion, and I might be able to get 2 tables out of that by doing so, by adding 3. I think if I did 2 large buildings, 2 small buildings, that might work. So this, like I said, some of this video is actually just for me, just kind of to go through my stuff and see what I needed to do, and I thought it'd be a good, interesting concept for people to see what goes into building a table. And some, like the Greek table, I thought I had a lot more in my brain. The other tables, like the Orc table, looks pretty good. I think that'll be fine. The Tau table, I think, is going to be fine. I just picked up 2 more of those planners, and I'm going to start on that one first, I think, because I think that one's going to be a lot of fun. So, Yeah, what you're seeing now is my 3D printer printing off a piece of an award for the Boise Cup. We're sold out, super stoked. We may have an announcement coming soon, but you never know. It depends on some certain things that can come into place. So right now we've sold 50 tickets. We are working on more terrain, trying to get things taken care of. I bought a bunch of the LVO terrain tubs, and I'm hoping not to use those as much, just because there's a ton of the L-shaped two-level pieces that are pretty predominantly in those. But if we do those, I think I'll have those more towards the center, Nova style, instead of in the corners, to kind of create those bunkers that people seem to like. And anyway, I'm real excited about what we have in store. My goal for the Boise Cup is to make top quality terrain on really good tables in a great space and have an excellent event. It went really well last year, and we're looking forward to doing more. So this is kind of the process that a TO goes through to have good terrain. Just kind of collecting stuff, evaluating stuff, building stuff, and getting help from friends. I'm really excited to see what my friend does with the Chernobyl table. I think it's going to look really cool because he's really good at a lot of stuff like that, weathering and whatnot. So thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next MaximumGaming.net video.